Hello everybody, today we're going to be breaking down Seyyto and Momsy and how they managed to win the most recent EU Div Cup Finals. So, the reason why I want to break this down is for two main reasons. One, I think it's really cool that French Fortnite is back. It's been chapters since we've seen a French team really compete at the highest level. And two, I think this team has some of the best understanding of how to play this meta of any teams in this new mask meta. So, start off with the drops. I could not tell you why Momsy's name is Sly Help, but it is. So we are conned by Lucia and Cyned. We end up outdropping them. So the first real thing to know about this Offspawn is that the majority of loot at Outpost Enclave is kind of centered around this middle area, in this little cantina. So because of that, whoever has control over this is almost always going to win the Offspawn. There is 5 barrels over here on this side, as well as just the biggest loot density. So it's very easy to loot that up, have HP advantage, as well as just have the guns to fight. In a POI like Outpost Enclave, most of the fights end up turning into gun duels, where it's just no mats, take the 50-50, whoever has better aim wins it. But when it comes down to players of equal skill, and in this case both teams being pros, the team that's almost always going to win that gunfight is going to be the team that has more HP. So, Momsy, pump, 2 spray guns, Seyyto, pump, spray gun, whereas Cyned and Lucia have pump, spray gun, revolver, spray gun, but the HP just isn't there. And so they're going to very much struggle to win this off spawn. Nothing real crazy. Momsy's just able to get a decent beam there. Plays on the tops. Able to come out, hit 100. A little bit more mats comes in clutch there. And already the off spawn is essentially over. They're able to keep with that confidence because they have the loot density. Whereas Lucia and Cyned really can't compete in any way because they just don't have the guns to do so. So this is a pretty good example of how you should be playing your off spawns. Try to get control of whatever the most important point is, whether it's a point that gives you HP advantage, mat advantage, loot advantage, whatever it is, and then convert that point into aggression, into keying the team that lands with you. Because if you have a off-spawn fight that drags out, it's very easy to get thirded. In this instance, we have a team Crab, we have a team Bug Base at the OXR base, and then we have a team over here at Turtles. That is 3 different teams that can all third-party Outpost Enclave if they wanted to. But because this team is able to end the fight as quickly as they are not going to be third-party. So if you find yourself often being third-party, you're struggling off-spawn, you probably just are not finishing the fights fast enough. So now, this is where I really start to think this team has a very strong mastery of this meta. So, I think we all are aware of this mask TP tech, but this is the first team I've really seen execute this tech properly. So, if you don't know, if you throw a mask portal onto a launch pad, fizz, and then TP, it sends you up, as you're about to see, in this weird bugged animation thing, where you're just soaring through the sky. So, we're going to use this, we're going to throw a TP up, throw another one, and all of a sudden, we've gone from Outpost to Kappa with 0 audio. ArtSkill in this building has no idea that there is a full 200 HP player falling down from the heavens on him, attempting to send him to hell. Falls down, drops in, and then all of a sudden, no opportunity for ArtSkill to breathe. Before we can even react, before we can even edit this ramp, he has Seyyto on his wall, edits, gets 150'd, tries to replace the wall, and dies. This is where Seyto's movement then comes super in handy. As this 4 tile is able to swap places so this player isn't able to get damage off, and then it gets this big 100 tag off onto Plazzy, I believe is the name. Because he gets this 100 damage off, this player has to be defensive. He cannot be aggressive playing for this body because he needs to focus on his HP. If Seyto's movement is not top tier there, their game is over. Momsy is then able to aggress, forces the player back. This player now has to then focus on his own HP more so than playing for this thirst. And they're now going to be able to recover, get this res off. Panzer comes back to try and take the 1. And from here, this team is going to disengage, regroup, and recover rather than continuing that fight. So already, I really like the idea of using this launch pad. I haven't really seen any other teams use it for like design kills like this, and so I think it's really, really cool in general. They're then going to use it again, so they want to go from outpost to this bug base, but there could be a team already at bug base. They don't really have any information on that. So what they're going to do is they're going to do that same tech again, and if there is a team here, they can just kill them. They're going to be dropping from the heavens. They're going to start this fight with an HP advantage. It's the same concept as using like those fizz crash pads back in the day, you know, a whole month ago, back when they used to work. So I just think that the way they use this tech is eye-opening for me. I've seen this tech, like I knew about it, like I was aware of it. I didn't see all the use cases for it. I didn't see the bigger picture, but now I understand it. I see like the vision behind it. And the same thing goes for this rotate as well. They have no information on if there is a team inside this Fruity Fields area, and so they're going to use this pad, and if a team does show up into this area, they can very easily punish them. Any team there, they can just punish them. So if you're a team landing near launch pads, I think this is tech you really need to get down. End up rotating around it. This is also a zone where it doesn't really make sense for them to high fizz pad because of the melons in the middle. Not really an advantage for them to stay in zone 2, so it makes sense for them to use that to try and maybe generate a kill off of it. As they're rotating here, they see Janice standing still, trying to look for a beam. They get that fry into him, and now they're just going to chase. And they're able to convert that into another kill. I've already highlighted in the PeanutBrain video why I think Stingers are especially strong in Endgame. But I think in general, like, they're the most underrated gun. The Stinger is just so strong for, like, moments like that where it's just, like, the amount of pressure and just damage per second you can get out of that gun is just so absurd. It is so good. The higher rarity ones on top of that are just crazy, crazy strong. I think if you're a team in opens that isn't struggling with Surge, I think holding the Stinger so that you're getting that, like, increased chance for kills in Endgame that increases fighting power, I think it's really, really worth it over, like, holding, like, a hammer or an OXR rifle. I'm a big proponent of that gun. But back to the vision, the rotates out of this team. So, basic concept here is they're going to try and get in towards center. The biggest threat to them as they go towards the center is going to be Asa and Podesai. They control this space in middle. So if they, on this rotate, cut up left and then just like go along the train tracks, very easy for them to be caught by this surge base on their right and on their left. So what they do instead is they do the rotate they do. They cut in, go underneath, and now they have this entire hill on their left to Brock LOS. They already know visually, because they saw it, there's no team playing surge base over here. So they only need to worry about their left at that point, and they can just hug underneath. Once they get to like here-ish, they can then TP wherever they want, TP, and then they're like towards center. So that's the idea behind like why they chose that specific path. And then because they're already kind of close to center, they get a pretty lucky Rift Pod spawn, and they're going to instantly force it. Rift Pods are the only way now to get Slurp Juice. It is so valuable to play for these Rift Pods. If you are not playing for Rift Pods because you are scared, you need to spend more time practicing your fight. Because if you have an opportunity to play for a Rift Pod, you really should take it. Getting Slurps, the most valuable heal, is so important, and is going to be a key factor in how they win this game. Spoiler alert. Sorry, guys. So from there, because they already have like a really good amount of surge, they have 5 kills already, they've gotten thirst on all of their knocks, they can just kind of just play AFK, reform out this building, take the time, get a bunch of edit control, as well as just reform their mats up to cap. This is exhilarating gameplay, if you ask me. as one of North America's top map farmers, and this is factually true, you can trust me when I say this is some top tier gameplay. Just look at Seyyto and how much fun he is having. This is what peak competitive Fortnite looks like. Also, another fun fact about PeanutBrainTS, I once worked a summer at an ice cream shop. I am a certified ice cream professional. I know, you've learned a lot. Next zone pops, and it pulls back towards them. So this is a very, very good zone for them. And so this is a Fortnite philosophy thing. There's two ways they can play it. They can stay where they are and chill on this edge and just try and play off their edits to try and convert this into more kills, because all of these teams that are up here, anywhere up here, are going to TP and land in areas around them. They can spray, they can get kills, they can edit on their walls here because they have so much space. They have a lot of kill opportunity here. But if you go more center, it is a far safer position. No matter where 7th zone pulls, if it's over here, 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 you can't really get a bad zone. So it really just comes down to your philosophy on how you think Fortnite should be played as to whether or not you think going center or staying on this edge is better. Me personally, I think going center is better if you can get a refarm, because it doesn't really cost you anything and you're in a safer overall position. But this team, you can probably already tell, is like a pretty W key heavy team, a very good fighting team, wants to stay on this edge. They're not really able to convert it into kills. There's definitely, certainly, kill opportunities here, like when Clement and I have no earthly clue how to say that name, end up on their wall, but they're not able to convert it into a kill. So as soon as they're ready, they try and force their way in as fast as possible. Now, the one thing about this rotate is because the area is so open and there is essentially no trees, there is no real opportunity for them to get a refarm as they rotate. If you are struggling with fizz rotates, or not fizz rotates, mask rotates, where it seems overly costly for you, try and aim for trees as you rotate, so as you pause and rebox, you can get that refarm going. So ends up not using that next TP because his teammate already got a good spot in. And so what the idea behind that rotate was, everyone and their mother is all going to congest on this side because it's the closest possible path for them. But because they're already kind of deep being here, they TP towards this middle point, and then they're able to TP again and get towards this much less congested southern side, where they're now on this little hill edge, and if it pulls up above them, they're chilling. Now, they go for a spray there. Could not tell you in my wildest dreams, in my wildest fantasies, and trust me, I got some wild ones, why they tried to spray that wall. I have no insight onto that. It's just, it's a baffler. But this is where I think that their mastery of this meta really starts to come through. I think the way they approach moving zones here is very, very interesting. So they pre-throw TPs, which I find interesting, and like, just on its own. They don't end up using them, but just, I find it deeply interesting that they throw them in the first place. I lied. They do end up losing them. And now they find themselves in a good, like, edge position. So something I circle back to that I saw Peterbot do is that you always want your TP to be touching the ground whenever you teleport. That way you kind of have as much control as you can possibly have over your TP and over your rotate. Because if you're TPing while you're falling, you open yourself up to just a lot of risk to dying while in the air. This next kill can only be described as truly shocking. Even shocks Momsy. So, Seyyto wants to look up for a spray down here. And so Momsy runs over to this wall, is about to flip this ramp, and realizes, hey, we have two old men here who are ready for action. And Queasy, being the mechanical titan he is not able to get out of this box. the action's not over here. So Momsy, our boy, who just got the skill, is trying to pop his Robin. When we have Robin flying into his box, has been a very action-packed game. Things kind of settle down for a second. So this is where I want to really focus in on Seyyto, because I think this next rotate is actually super, super interesting. The first thing is, when you look through this cone, there's really no one that can spray at you. There's no teams like really like in front established that can look back. There's no teams really to the side. There's a very clear path to like rotate in. And this is where I see something that very few teams do in this meta. He chooses not to mask. He's going to use his Fizz here to rotate, and there's very little mask usage in this moving zone. And I honestly think that this is very, very, very good. So firstly, he scouted, he saw a super, super clear path. Like, in terms of just like being a good path, this is about as good one as you can get, right? You have a clear spot you can go in underneath, and then you can cut up, and then you can just like double layer here. There's no one really in front of you that can hold you. It's just a super, super strong position to Fizz rotate out of. So we do it. We're mirrored under height. That is also a key aspect of this. So as we rotate, we are under height in their blind spot. So no one on height can look down and beam us. So we don't really have to worry about height too much. And then we're able to tarp. We're able to get in. Now, does this rotate cost us more mats? In theory, yes. But because it is so much safer, because we're not running the risk of getting split off of that TP, I think it's just a super, super strong rotate. If you are given just like a good opportunity like that, I think you should always be taking it in order to just like conduct that Fizz rotate. They get lucky with a zone pullback. They attempted to look for a height spray out, but they weren't really able to get any. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of height insight right now. Let me go back a little bit as to how teams are playing height in this meta, because I'm not focusing on it, but I still want to teach you guys a little bit about how to play this meta. Part of the reason why I'm rushing this video and making sure I get it out Monday before the Div Cup on Tuesday. So, the general idea behind how you play height this meta is you want to be as high as you can be. That way, as you're tarping, teams below you can't just throw a TP up and just be up with you. You just want to be so high that they can't do that. You can't just get randomly TP'd on. That's the biggest threat to losing height this meta. Because of that, you want to be as wide as possible. That way you have just a super, super reinforced tarp, and if you are getting chopped, you can look back for it to make sure that, like, hey, we're getting chopped. On top of that, if you're a high team, you need to have TPs, so if you do get chopped, you can catch yourself with a TP. So like right here, they do in fact get chopped, but Nebs is able to catch himself with a TP, and so from here, he can then just throw another TP back up. So that's like the real basic height principles behind the season. You want to be as high as you can, super wide. So you want to be too high for teams to TP up on you, and then super wide so you're reinforced and having TPs down. So if you get chopped, you can catch yourself. That's it. I'm going to go back to Seyyto now and focus back on his mid-ground gameplay. How they play this mid-ground? Very, very similar to Peterbot, which makes sense. This is a very mechanical team, and Seyyto especially is one of the better fighters, I'd say, like, in the world. Let me run that back real quick so I can really, like, talk through that little, like, rotate down middle. So he kind of catches the transition there when there's not as many teams front side because they're still, like, waiting to TP. He's a clear path. He does it before he's fully backside, as he is able to navigate all the way through. Super, super clean phase runs. Honestly, Seyyto's some of the best I've seen even last meta. Like, this is super, super clean phase running. From here, he's just going to stay all the way to zone. Remember, they have absolutely great mats. They've found really, really consistent refreshes so far this moving zones. Again, scouting out height, seeing if there's really any opportunity for them to go for it. Whips the bump. A little bit shaky there, a little bit worrying, but overall, just good double front tarp methods. Second zone pops, they are ready, they are already off pre-phase. Again, when they get front, they are looking up, they are scouting. They are constantly being aware of that win condition. Player gets on their layer. This is, again, why the Stinger is so, so good. Just absolutely shreds them, nests them another kill. And then nests them another kill again. The Stinger is so, so strong in these positions, guys. I'm going to keep glazing it. It's so, so strong. This is where scouting before really sets them up well. So they know there's a height team, and they're not going to look up here, like, before they pop it, but, like, they know what the call is. They're going to pop slurps and then try and TP up onto height. The idea behind this play is that because they're popping slurps in zone, height's going to kind of forget about them, and they're going to be able to do this for free. Height, however, is very aware of them. And so they're going to be just forced to do this as risky as humanly possible. So if you do not have TPs going, probably not the best play. But because Seyyto and Momsy do have those TPs, slurps going, they're going to be able to just, like, already be, like, super, super healthy. I'm going to swap over to Momsy's POV. So he is the one that gets kills. Expert runs into zone, is able to take down Mappy. Almost takes down Nebs. Loki, little bit of an overheat there after he got that 140 pump off, but still, overall, really, really solid plays. Again, this is why having slurps is so valuable as just like a heal. The fact that even though you can go down so much damage in a fight and still end up being healthy is just so, so important. If you are, whatever level you're at, if you're Div 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, whatever, if you are not confident to fight for a Rift Pod if it spawns near you, you need to reevaluate how you are practicing. You need to spend more time in creative, more time in ranked. You just need to spend more time playing the game and getting your mechanics up, because the value of those slurps is so, so important. I'm yapping because this is quite possibly the most heal-off gameplay you will ever see. He just TPs back, pops this medkit, and is able to get it off. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this, like, helped give you some insight into how to play this meta. Honestly, I feel like my commentary wasn't the best on this video. It's very late for me. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, but my internet's super bad, so if I don't give myself like 3 hours to upload a 20-minute video, I have no chance of getting this out by Monday, and I want to make sure I get this video out before Div Cups. I would have loved to have spent more time on it, but I honestly couldn't. I want to make sure I got, like, out a video on how to play this meta before the Div Cup. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm fried right now. I want to go get some sleep. I'm going to make sure, I don't know why I'm talking like this video isn't going to be up for you guys. But again, appreciate all of you guys that made it to the end of the video. Much love to all of you guys. I hope this video helped you guys. If it didn't, I'll make sure I do better in the next one. And I'll make sure I do better in the one after that. I will keep trying my best to provide as much good content as I physically can for you guys, because I really do appreciate every last one of you that support me every time I post a video.